The full true story of the Sultanate of Brunei. The story of Brunei is one of dramatic rise, tragic decline, and an astonishing modern rebirth fueled by natural resources. It is one of the world's oldest continuous ruling dynasties, with a history deeply intertwined with the regional powers of Southeast Asia. Early origins and the rise of an empire, 7th to 15th centuries. Earliest references. The earliest historical records referring to a place in Borneo that could be Brunei come from Chinese and Indian sources. The Chinese referred to it as Poni, Boni, and it was described as a trading state with ties to the Srivijaya Empire, centered in Sumatra, and later the Majapahit Empire, Java. It was a minor but significant port in the extensive network of Southeast Asian trade. The arrival of Islam and foundation of the Sultanate. The pivotal moment in Brunei's history was the conversion to Islam. According to local tradition, this occurred in the 14th century, when Brunei's ruler, Awang Alak Badatar, married a princess from the Islamic kingdom of Temasek, modern-day Singapore. He converted, took the name Sultan Muhammad Shah, and established the Sultanate of Brunei around 1363 CE. This date is officially recognized, though some scholars debate the exact timeline. The conversion was not just spiritual, it was a strategic political move. It connected Brunei to the vast network of Muslim traders and sultanates across the Indian Ocean, distancing it from the Hindu-Buddhist spheres of influence of Java and Sumatra. The Golden Age, the Bruneian Empire, 15th, 17th centuries. Brunei's true Golden Age began with the 5th Sultan, Sultan Bolkiah, R. 1485-1524, known as the Singa, or Lion of Brunei. A legendary figure, he was a powerful navigator and warrior. Under his rule, the Bruneian Empire expanded to control almost the entire island of Borneo, now Kalimantan, Indonesia, and East Malaysia, and reached into the modern-day Philippines, including Manila and the Sulu archipelago. This expansion was driven by several factors. 1. Strategic location. It controlled key trade routes between the Spice Islands, Maluku, China, and the rest of Southeast Asia. 2. Trade goods. It was a source of highly valued commodities like camphor, spices, timber, and most importantly, gold. 3. Naval power. It possessed a powerful navy that could project power and collect tribute from coastal regions. 4. Alliance with Malacca. Before the Portuguese conquest of Malacca in 1511, Brunei was a key ally of that great trading empire, further boosting its prestige and trade. At its peak, the Sultan's influence was immense. European explorers like the crew of Ferdinand Magellan, who visited in 1521, and later the Spaniards, described a wealthy city with a magnificent court, strong fortifications, and a vast population. Decline and the threat of colonialism, 17th-19th centuries. The empire's decline was gradual, caused by a combination of internal and external pressures. Internal strife. The empire was built on a system of loyalty and tribute. As central power weakened, regional governors and peripheral territories began to assert their independence. Succession disputes within the royal family also created instability. The rise of European powers. The arrival of the Spanish in the Philippines and the Dutch in the East Indies was catastrophic for Brunei. Spanish hostility. The Spanish saw Brunei as a rival Muslim power and launched several attacks from their base in Manila, even sacking the capital in 1578. Though they couldn't hold it, these attacks severely weakened Bruneian power in the Philippines. The British intervention and the path to survival, 19th-20th centuries. Brunei's modern borders and survival as an independent state are almost entirely due to British intervention. James Brooke and the White Rajas. In 1839, British adventurer James Brooke arrived in Borneo. He helped the Sultan put down a rebellion and was rewarded in 1841 with the governorship, and later the ownership, of the territory of Sarawak. Over the next decades, Brooke and his nephews, the White Rajas, systematically expanded Sarawak at the direct expense of Brunei, annexing river system after river system. The Treaty of Protection and Loss of Territory. Facing extinction from internal rebellion, the expansion of the Brookes, and the encroachment of the British North Borneo Company, in modern Sabah, Sultan Hashim Jalilul Alam Akamaddin was forced to appeal for help. In 1888, Brunei signed a treaty of protection with Great Britain. This made Brunei a British protectorate. Britain would handle its foreign affairs and defend it, but the Sultan would remain the internal ruler. Crucially, this treaty prevented the Brooks and the North Borneo Company from swallowing the last remnants of Brunei. In 1906, after the Sultan appealed for help with domestic administration, the supplementary agreement was signed, installing a British resident as advisor. The Sultan was now obliged to follow the resident's advice on all matters except Malay customs and religion. This established the indirect colonial rule that would last for over half a century, the discovery of oil. In 1929, amidst this colonial twilight, the event that would define modern Brunei occurred. Oil was discovered at Syria. This transformed the impoverished state's economic prospects overnight. The British Malayan Petroleum Company, now Shell, began large-scale extraction. Oil revenues would later provide the means for Brunei to choose a unique path to independence. Modern Brunei, independence and the absolute monarchy, the post-Wabi Tuanin period and the question of Malaysia. After World War II and the Japanese occupation, the British moved to consolidate their possessions. The proposal was for Brunei to join the newly formed Federation of Malaysia in 1963. However, Sultan Omar Ali Saifuddin III, known as the architect of modern Brunei, decided against it. His reasons were strategic. 1. Brunei's vast oil wealth would have to be shared with poorer states. He would be just one of many sultans losing his preeminent status. 3. The proposed arrangement would reduce his political power. Brunei chose to remain a British protectorate. The road to full independence. In 1967, Sultan Omar Ali Saifuddin III abdicated in favor of his son, the current ruler, Sultan Hassan al-Bolkiah. Negotiations with the UK continued, and on January 1, 1984, Brunei Darussalam, abode of peace, achieved full independence. Brunei under Sultan Hassan al-Bolkiah. The modern nation is defined by several key characteristics. Immense wealth. Oil and natural gas have given Brunei one of the highest GDP per capita in the world.